I think we've all had the experience that we suddenly get a rush of motivation to get your entire life together. Driven by that motivation, we research on how to improve our life from all aspects. And then we get our to-do list and write every single thing that we have to do. Only to then find out that our to-do list is actually longer than the Eiffel Tower and that we have a lot of tasks to complete. But with full motivation, we try our best to complete every single task. But the more you check off, the more you realize that the list just doesn't stop. We eventually get so overwhelmed by our long to-do list that we just stop doing our to-dos altogether. I experienced this many times, but I think I finally found a solution to not only check off all my to-dos, but also to avoid feeling overwhelmed in the first place. It all started when I was around 17 years old and I realized that I had to know more about self-improvement. And the reason for that was because I was really just doing nothing with my life. Like, the only real thing that I did was gaming, sitting all day, not exercising. Bro, I was a lazy ass, bro. I was basically in the complete opposite spectrum of self-improvement. And you know, as a kid, like a 14-year-old, that's okay. Like, bro, just be a kid. But I realized that I was slowly but surely becoming an adult. And in a couple years, I realized that I had to provide for my family. So time was really ticking and I just realized that I really had to work on myself. And when that realization hit, I found the world of self-improvement. And bro, I binged the heck out of it. I literally watched every video of every self-improvement YouTuber. Bro, I watched all the videos of your favorite self-improvement YouTuber, bro. Talking about Ali Abdaal, Hamza, Practical Psychology, bro. I watched everyone. And now all of a sudden, I'm in the complete other opposite side of the spectrum of self-improvement, where it's basically my life. And because I consumed so much information, I learned a lot of things about how to basically become a self-improvement gigachat. So what did I do? I downloaded the to-do list app and I basically wrote down every single task that I had to do to become a self-improvement gigachat. I'm talking about writing goals for the next 5 years, year, month, week, day. Bro, it just kept going and going and going. And bro, my to-do list became hella thick. The problem with a to-do list though is that you can basically write an infinite amount of to-dos. And guess what? Because I had so many to-dos, I didn't check off all my to-dos. Now don't get me wrong, I checked some here and there, but it was literally impossible to finish all of my to-dos plus the new to-dos that got added every day. And you know, I just burned out because I couldn't finish all of it. And because of that, I basically went back to my old habits of not really doing anything self-improvement related. And you know, this was kind of like a vicious cycle because after a while of giving up, I realized that I was doing nothing with my life again. And so I had to work on myself again. So I tried to pick up self-improvement again. And then I consumed a lot of information again and wrote down a lot of tasks again. And guess what? I got burnt out again. But everything changed after one event. It was like a entrepreneurial event for students in Belgium where we basically got to learn a lot about entrepreneurial stuff after we graduate. And you know, the event was cool and all, but that wasn't like the big deal. The big deal was a goodie bag that we got. And in that goodie bag was a week planner. And you know, I never really used a week planner, like I only really just used a to-do list on my phone. But from time to time, I tried to like make my ideal week in Google Agenda, expect that I would like rigorously follow it. But obviously life gets in the way and you can't follow rigorously one by one your ideal agenda. So I just kind of deviated from it. And you know, I learned from my mistake. So I decided, you know what, I'm gonna try to use a week planner, but instead of planning my entire week in advance, I'm gonna just write down all the tasks for the next day the night before. But the big difference was that I only have 4 lines for each day. So I can only write 4 tasks for each day. And now my whole perspective changed because now I cannot have infinite to-dos. Now I have to consciously decide what the 4 most important to-dos are so that any other to-do basically becomes irrelevant and unnecessary. I recently read a book called The One Thing by Gary Keller. And he even goes a step further where he basically says that you need to choose one to-do that's so important so that any other to-do basically becomes irrelevant and unnecessary. And so what I tried was writing down 4 to-dos for each day and marking the most important to-do with a crown. Because I knew that if I would not complete all of my to-dos, I at least have done my most important to-do. So I did that for some time. And you know, it's actually the first time really that I checked off almost every single to-do that I planned to do. But there was still one big flaw, and that was when I didn't check off all of my to-dos for the day. And that is flawed because let's say that I would plan 4 new to-dos for the next day, but I still had 2 uncompleted to-dos from today, then all of a sudden I have 6 new to-dos that I have to do for the next day. And if that adds up, then it really just becomes a regular to-do list but in a week planner format. To fix that, I only allowed 4 uncompleted to-dos in my week planner. Let me give you an example. Let's say on Sunday Sunday night, I decide to write new 4 to-dos for Monday. Now Monday comes and I only do 2 out of the 4 to-dos. When Monday night hits, instead of writing 4 new to-dos for Tuesday, I only write 2 new to-dos for Tuesday, because I still have the other 2 old to-dos that I didn't complete on Monday. Now let's say on Tuesday I do none of the 4 to-dos. When Tuesday night hits, I won't even write new to-dos for Wednesday, because I still have 4 uncompleted to-dos in my week planner, the to-dos from Monday and the to-dos from Tuesday. So I just scrap Wednesday out of my week planner and just try to complete the old to-dos that I wrote down on Monday and Tuesday. I hope that makes more sense. This is a very nice system because it not only forces you to complete every single to-do that you have, but also forces you to choose wisely what to-do you want to achieve. Of course, if you write a to-do on Monday and it's Friday and you still haven't done that to-do, then you're either procrastinating a really difficult task, or it's just not really that important to do. So choose accordingly if you will still do that to do or to just scrap it. This simple habit of planning 4 tasks each night for the following day has completely changed the game for me. Because now, instead of overwhelming myself with a never-ending to-do list, I just keep it simple and I just write 4 new tasks for each day, which really just keeps me from being drained. This is a way simpler approach, which in turn will lead to no burnout, thus making it more of a viable long-term solution for me. And maybe for you too. So if you had the same problem as me, where you have a to-do list of like 1,000 tasks and just get overwhelmed and drained by it, just simplify it. Just use a week planner and write down 4 tasks for the next day each night, and mark the most important task with a crown. I actually made a week planner for you guys, so if you want to download this week planner, just click on the resource link in the description down below. Now, of course, there are unique tasks that you have to do each day, but there are some tasks that are the same that you have to do every day, aka habits. Habits are an amazing thing, but most people can't really stick to them. I talk all about it in this video, why that is the case and how to overcome it. So be sure to check it out. Musafir out.